Welcome back to Second and Short. It is Friday, September 27th, 2024. NFL Week 4 is officially here. The MLB playoffs are nearly set. The Premier League season continues this weekend, but for the rest of the season, back-to-back reigning champs will be without one of their best players. We found out earlier this week that Rodri will miss the remainder of the season with a torn ACL, and UCL Matchday 2 right around the corner, so obviously he'll be missing from the Man City squad for that as well. Luke, how you doing today?
I'm pretty good. We're braving the storm here in
Yeah,
Georgia, aren't we?
yeah, and we're recording right now. We typically would not start this early on a Thursday unless it was the summertime, but it's 2:20 p.m. right now. And my biggest reason of wanting to record early, other than that we were able to, is the fact that I don't know when this storm's really going to come through, and I would like to not have this episode not go up in time because there's a hurricane that knocks out
Yeah.
my power.
I remember one of the episodes that Ethan produced most of my episodes over the summer, but you remember when it stormed on us
Yeah.
in the studio? That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was
I
loud.
don't Yeah, but this is supposed to be, 1,000 times worse. So might
Yes.
as well go ahead and get it done earlier.
Yeah. To the people out there, I guess you'll be hearing this Friday morning, but which is about the time that the storm should be hitting down in at least our local area. If you live in Tennessee, Missouri, Kentucky, watch out. Be safe. If you live
Yeah.
in the Florida Panhandle, I'm surprised you can hear me underwater.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hope y'all are staying safe
yeah,
too, though. I
definitely.
mean, it's wild.
Definitely stay safe down there. If you're in the Florida Panhandle, which it's too late when you're hearing this, but if you're in the Florida Panhandle, you should probably leave. Um, but yeah, we're
Yeah.
just recording this episode a few hours earlier than we typically would, just because of the hurricane. So there might be some MLB stuff that is going to be kind of outdated by the time you listen to this, just because there's a couple of games tonight that could change some clinching situations. But
Yep.
nonetheless, we've got NFL Week 4 on the schedule today. MLB Playoff Picture that we'll talk about. We got Premier League weekend, UCL Matchday 2, and a questions time from Nathan, which at the moment he has texted me the questions. He may post them on Reddit, but he is currently in Target and doesn't have service. So shout out Nathan. Any means necessary getting us the questions.
Yeah. Shout out Nathan.
Anything we need to hit on before the episode starts?
Um, I don't know. Did you have anything in mind?
No, I don't think so. I was just wondering if there was a big headline that we could be talking about.
Trying
I
to
don't
think. I feel
I
like
don't
there
think
was
so.
one for the NFL, but I don't know. I don't know.
I'm gonna double check. I don't know why, but I do feel like we're missing something. I'm not really
I
sure.
mean,
Oh, Derrick
we missed
Rose. Derrick
on.
Rose retired. That's what I wanted to
Oh
talk about.
yes,
Shout out
yeah.
Derrick Rose, one of my favorite NBA players ever.
Oh dude, he's amazing. Really inspiring guy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe I recently I knew that he won MVP at a very young age.
Yes, the youngest ever.
But I saw the graphic today and I was scrolling through like all of his accolades and um 22 years old, MVP
Yeah.
is incredible. And I always throughout his whole career kind of would like not necessarily dog on him, but sort of brush him off. But really, he could have had a way worse career from that injury than he actually did. Like he came
Definitely.
back
Like it
and
slowed
he
him
did some
down.
things.
It slowed him down
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, like he won MVP in what, like his third year in the league at
yeah,
22 years old. Unbelievable. And he was rookie of the year in
crazy.
2008, 2009, which not a lot of people talk about. Not a lot of
Twice?
people talk about the fact. No, he was the rookie of the year as
Oh,
well.
in
So he
that
was rookie of the
season.
year and
Okay.
then 2 years later won MVP and obviously was, NBA first team. He was also 11th in MVP voting in 2011, 2012. And then in 2020, crazy enough, he was ninth in MVP voting.
Yeah.
That's insane. And that was a season where
Bubble legend.
he was on Detroit and New York.
Dang, a two team
Yeah.
top 10 voting. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Derrick Rose though, man. He's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Shout out Antoine Griezmann. I love Derrick Rose. Uh, that clip is so funny. And is used too much in edits of Derrick Rose 100%. You got to find a new
Yeah.
Derrick Rose clip. All right. I think that's all that I wanted to talk about. So now we will get into NFL Week 4. If I had to guess, it's going to be madness because that's just been the NFL all season. Unpredictable.
Yeah.
And okay, I want to talk about this before we get into anything. And I know we spend enough time talking about the NFL, so I'll keep it brief. Why are people complaining about like the actual product that's being put on the field? Like,
I have no idea.
I don't get it.
One of the most entertaining NFL seasons from the past couple of years that I can remember is happening.
Like, I don't care if quarterbacks aren't throwing for 300 something yards and 3 touchdowns in every single game. And I don't care if guys are getting benched. And it does suck that there are guys that have already gotten injured early in this season. But it's like that happens every single year. I think this has been super entertaining. We're seeing success at the running back position, especially that we haven't seen in years, which I love.
Aaron Rodgers healthy.
Aaron Rodgers is healthy. A number of other quarterbacks are healthy. And like we're seeing like these one-off performances from guys like last week, Juwan Jennings. Watching that 49ers game was unbelievable. Like there's been so many fun moments early in this season where I'm like, how could anybody be complaining about what we're getting right now? Jaden Daniels, to this point, oh my God. Like, how could you be mad about what's going on? Drake May is going to get the start this week for the Patriots. Like, so much fun stuff. The Vikings have been fun to watch. Like, I don't know what people are complaining about. Baby. Yeah.
Andy Dalton, too.
Yeah, Andy Dalton is starting for the second week. Like, there's fun shit going on right now in the NFL, and I don't know why people are complaining.
I've been really enjoying it. Really exciting defensive rookies this year, too.
Yeah. Despite there being what it was like the 14th or 15th pick, Leatu Latu to the Colts.
Yeah.
Was like the first defensive player off the board.
He had a big play last week, though.
He did.
He had a major play.
Yeah. No stranger to sacking Caleb Williams. He did it at UCLA as well.
Yeah. And I biased, but like I feel like Justin Fields being 3-0 has been another entertaining story to follow. Just his kind of
surprising story for sure.
Yeah, but it's been a fantastic season, and a lot of it has to do with my team being unbeaten. So
my team has certainly been all over the place. We'll talk about them in a couple minutes, but let's talk Thursday Night Football real quick. Obviously, everybody already knows how that's going to go because it's already happened for them. But the Cowboys are a 6-point favorite for the Giants. I've got 2 fun facts. Daniel Jones, 1-10 in prime time, and 1-6 against the Cowboys.
What was his one primetime win?
I think. Did they play the Jets like 2 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago for sure. In that big year that he had.
Yeah.
And the Giants made the playoffs. I want to say they beat some. I can probably find this. But start talking a little bit more about the Cowboys. I'd like to hear what you're thinking right now with the Cowboys while I look this up.
Oh man, they were starting to make a comeback last week against Baltimore, but they definitely have some stuff that they need to figure out. Dak definitely needs to look better. And you have 0 run game to help him out there. Like I've already seen. Was it last week when CeeDee Lamb was arguing with Dak and like Zach Martin?
I think so,
or something like that on the sideline. Like that's not a good look at all, especially when you just locked him up. And defensively, they're just getting destroyed by big plays, I feel like. And I feel like the Cowboys this week going into the Giants, they have a good week to figure out a lot of these problems and maybe get like some bounce back momentum here. But on the other end, I think that the Giants can definitely hang in a game with them. I really do.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Still haven't found this primetime game, so I'm just not going to keep looking. Yeah, I think the Giants could hang in there. I week after week, the duo of Daniel Jones and Malik Neighbors continues to get better. Like they genuinely have chemistry on the field. I'm not going to say just as good as any other quarterback wide receiver duo, but those two are finding ways to link up over and over and over again. And obviously, I
Yeah.
love it because Malik Neighbors is on my fantasy team. But I also love it because I thought Malik Neighbors was going to be able to bring this out of Daniel Jones. And that's exactly what he's done to this point. So
Yep.
I really do think that those two have the chance to do it. But also on the other side, you have one of the best quarterback wide receiver duos in the league in Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. And they
Yep.
love to turn up against the Giants, just the Cowboys in general.
Yes.
And I think
They
the
yeah.
secondary that the Cowboys have, obviously Deron Bland is out, but Trayvon Diggs obviously still looks very good. He's going to play a big role here in just, I would say you have to put him on Neighbors at all times in this game. I'm not that worried about Slayton or Wando Robinson that much. Like Trayvon Diggs
Yeah.
needs to be smothering Malik Neighbors at all times because Malik's just simply had his way for a couple weeks now.
Yeah. Definitely. And on the Cowboys defensive side as well, it's probably the worst offensive line that they've played so far this season.
Yes.
I would even say that Cleveland's is better, but yeah, you got DeMarcus Lawrence who's going to be a threat in the run, and then Micah Parsons who might have his best game of the season, week 4. So
Yeah.
it definitely could happen there. And I have a Daniel Jones primetime win. You were right about the year, wrong about the team. It was Commanders. They won by 8 points.
That shouldn't have been on prime time.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
Did this one be on prime time?
2022 was the season where like the Commanders were pretty close to getting in too.
I think it was, yeah.
I think they were like a frisky team. Because I think that's when
Risky team?
yeah, they were frisky, I would say. I think that's when it was like Jacoby Brissett was starting like all year and then Sam Howell came in at the end. At the very end of the year. When they beat the Cowboys
Oh,
late in the
yeah.
year with Sam Howell.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Or you would have to be right.
I
It would
think
have to
so.
be winning.
Yeah, because Howell
Yeah.
started all last year. Nonetheless, final scores. What are we thinking?
Uh 23-20. Give me the Cowboys.
Okay. I'm going to go 28-17 Cowboys.
Okay.
Just think the offense is a little much, especially just CeeDee Lamb in general, a little much for this Giants secondary.
Yep.
All right,
We'll
let's get
see.
into Sunday's games, and we'll start off with Saints-Falcons. Falcons a 2.5-point favorite. Honestly, look, if you're the Falcons, you got to forget about how the Chiefs game ended. You do. Look, I'm pissed. I'm so mad about I think you could have won, but the fact is you were there. You were right there, and that's a step in the right direction. That's the way that I'm going to take that loss because look, it's the Chiefs. I'm okay losing to the Chiefs. Look, I was pissed about losing to the Steelers, and I was happy about the win against the Eagles. There's things to learn, obviously, but I can be pretty happy with how the final score looked. The way that the game ended, I'm not happy with. I think it just kind of proves that Zach Robinson still has some things to figure out as a play caller. Because in what world are you on 4th and 1 running horizontally? Like that just doesn't make any sense. Especially not with Bijan and Tyler Algier as your options. Like both of them probably would have had much more success going up the middle. I think even Kirk would have had better success sneaking it. Like I don't know why we would be trying to run to the side at that moment, because throughout the game you're running up the middle and it's working. You try to run outside, it doesn't work. Why are you doing it on 4th and 1 with the game on the line? Obviously, look, they missed the flag. I know they totally missed that pass interference call in the end zone. That would have made it a whole different game. Ball on the 1-yard line, first down would have been a game changer. But you just got to get past it. And I think the Saints are going to kind of be in the same position where it's like, we just got to get past what happened last week because they had the weirdest showing against the Eagles. Like the first 2 weeks of the season couldn't have been better for the Saints. And then them and the Eagles both looked like shit until the very end of that game when like each side decided like, oh, we need to do something.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the scoreline kind of flattered New Orleans here. The Eagles were way better at moving the ball than the Saints were throughout this entire game. And I think, Philly was going for it a lot when they probably, at the end of the game looked back and said, oh, we probably could have had, 9 points from field goals that we lost out on, getting down to that side of the field. But Yeah, I don't know. I think the Saints kind of had their humble game. I don't know if we'll ever see week 1, week 2 Saints for probably the rest of the season, if I'm
No,
being honest. That
no.
just kind of feels like what's going to happen. Um, the Falcons have a lot of good takeaways, but that was a very winnable game. But, like you
Yes.
said, I think they can be fine, taking that L to the Chiefs because that probably was what was, expected anyway. But you never want to lose games like that.
No, not at all. I think.
I
Go ahead.
I was going to go ahead and give my score prediction.
Okay, let me
If you
talk about
wanted
the
to keep
Saints
talking.
real quick. I think with the Saints, it's just a matter of like last week was so deflating. Like I think
Yeah.
you were riding so high on those first 2 weeks. Last week is so deflating, and for them to now have to bounce back, play a rivalry game on the road after such an
Mhm.
odd home loss, I think it's just a super odd scenario for them to come into. And the Falcons defense is good enough to stop whatever they've got going on. Like, obviously, I don't want to be the matchups guy, but like we saw this Falcons team be able to stop the Eagles pretty well, and the Eagles
Yep.
stop, and vice versa. So I do think the Saints are just going to be a little bit, I don't know, they're going to be kind of dragging it into Atlanta.
Yeah. And on top of that, I think what we can take away from the Saints' offensive performance against Philly is that if you take out Rashid Shaheed,
Yeah, it's easy.
there's
It's
only
smooth sailing.
I know there's only so much moving the ball that Chris Olave can do. Obviously Olave is your best wide receiver there, but those
Yeah.
big plays from Shaheed were really instrumental in getting them good field position and just kind of keeping the game going that way. And I think they ran the ball with Alvin Kamara probably a little bit too much this
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, I agree. I
I
think in the passing game, Rashid Shaheed gives me, especially right now, giving me kind of a like Gabe Davis of years gone by in Buffalo, where it was like Stephon Diggs is going to do his thing at wide receiver, just like Chris Olave
Yeah.
does. But Gabe Davis is there to like get a big touchdown or just get a big yardage play out of the quarterback. And I think that's kind of what Rashid Shaheed has done so far. And like throughout his career, that's just kind of what he's done for the Saints.
Yeah.
But when he does get shut down, you saw that like Olave wasn't enough and AK wasn't enough.
Yes. Score prediction: Falcons 17, Saints 13.
Low scorer. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Falcons 24, Saints 14.
Okay.
All right. Rams, Bears. The Bears are 3-point favorite, and I absolutely hate this game. I couldn't think of two teams I kind of okay. This is one of those where you cover your eyes and you peek through your fingers, like watching this game.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to see it, but you kind of want to see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Caleb
Perfect
is
point.
getting better, like week by week, but I'm still waiting for the big game. Other rookie
Yeah.
quarterbacks that we'll talk about have already had their big games. I'm
Yeah.
still waiting on it, and the defense is bailing them out over and over again. Obviously, it wasn't enough last week, but I don't love the Bears. And then on the Rams side, this feels like the weird ass spot for this banged up team where Matthew Stafford's just going to randomly decide to have a good game. This is a Matthew
Yeah.
Stafford spot through and through. The team is struggling. They're down to fucking a banged up Tutu Atwell at wide receiver one. They've got no help in the running game. Like Kyron's getting shut down every now and then. And this is where Matthew Stafford's like, you know what? I'm just gonna kill it. This is how this feels for some reason.
Yeah. I don't know. I think if the Bears can stop Kyron, they have a pretty good chance of getting the win in
Definitely.
this game. The Bears defense still has reigned pretty supreme, I would say, in the
Oh
NFL.
yeah.
They look really, 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 really good. Um, yeah, I'm kind of thinking that they might be the ones to actually expose Matthew Stafford. I mean, I see what you're saying. It definitely feels like it's setting up for a
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford legacy game, but I don't know. I'm kind of liking Chicago in this matchup, which is crazy because the Rams are coming off beating the 49ers with nobody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like last week, like
So,
Stafford didn't even look that good. And it
yeah.
was really just like Kyron Williams turning up a little bit there in the second half.
Yep.
And now it's just like, what are they going to bring for the Bears? Because the Bears defense has maybe been the best in the NFL to this point. or one of definitely. So we'll have to see. But I just don't know if I can get behind Bears -3. That's the part that's concerning to me.
Yeah.
Like I know they're at
Yeah.
home, but they haven't shown me enough on offense to say that like if the Rams put up, 17, can the Bears put up 20? I don't even know if that's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, I don't know either. And I would say like another kind of crazy take is that the Bears defense has probably been more consistent than the 49ers defense this
Oh,
year.
for
Like they
sure.
probably are
For
better.
sure.
So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give a score prediction. And I also want to throw this in there. DeAndre Swift, please try
Do something.
to have a good game. I'm gonna take Chicago. I'm going with really, really close, low scoring games. 20-17 over the
Do we
Rams.
know if Keenan Allen is back or not? I never
Um,
thought to check.
I don't know, but Roman, I don't know.
So I was actually going to say, if Keenan Allen's back, the Bears will lose. If he's still out, they'll win.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know. It just
I'm
seems to be
checking.
functioning better without him.
That's what I'm saying. Let's see. I'm not seeing him on the injury report, but I am seeing that Montez Sweat and Darrell Taylor are questionable. Both their defensive ends.
Oh wow.
So that doesn't serve them well. Braxton Jones is questionable, who doesn't even matter. Their offensive line has been ass. I think I'm gonna go with the Bears. But I'm gonna go 13-10. So I guess they don't technically cover the spread. It would be a push, but yeah, 13-10
Yeah.
Bears.
Okay, I like it.
Okay, next game, Vikings versus Packers. Packers 2.5-point favorites at home. Jordan Love really is like likely to start this game.
Okay.
Insane turnaround for Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Insanely
I don't
fast
know.
turnaround for a sprained MCL, I think was the
Yeah.
prognosis.
Yeah. I'm a little bit upset. It's no Malik though.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
Do
not
we
gonna
need to
lie.
push it? Like, I know, like, look, the
Yeah.
Vikings are coming to town 3-0. They've beat multiple great teams in the league already.
Yep.
Do we need to push Jordan Love to play? Because we might still lose.
Yeah, that's a good point. Man,
Like,
I don't
why
know.
not?
But then
I feel like
do
you
wanna
could give
risk being
Jordan the
2 and
week.
2 though?
What?
I don't know. I feel like 2 and 2 is kind of like
Yeah.
do we want to be 2 and 2 though?
Hey, but who's 2-0? Malik Willis.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I mean, I guess he is better.
But
than
it's
Jordan
also
Love.
against the Colts and the Titans. So
Yeah, very true.
yeah, you got to take it with a grain of salt. And like the Vikings are just a whole different monster than what the Packers have really seen. I think the Vikings are far better than the Eagles from what I've seen on display so far.
Yeah,
And of course, the Vikings offense has way more to offer than that of the Titans and the Colts. Well, I don't know. We'll talk about the Colts in a second. But I couldn't have been more wrong about the Vikings. I'll go ahead and say that, even though it's only week 4. I couldn't have been more wrong
Yeah.
about them. And I
I
think
mean-
maybe it was because all offseason I was just operating with the assumption that JJ McCarthy's not good. And then he wasn't the quarterback, and I just kind of kept that sentiment. But like I knew Sam
Yeah.
Darnold could turn up. I'm more surprised about how wrong I was about the defense. Defense is fantastic.
yeah,
Like I knew that like Danielle Hunter leaving would be a problem, but I didn't realize that like Jonathan Grenard was that good of a pickup. I knew it was a good one. I didn't know it was that good. And like him and Dallas Turner on the same defensive line has been unbelievable.
yeah.
So
I keep forgetting about Dallas
yeah,
Turner. Over
I
there.
was so wrong about the Vikings, kind of all around. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say, hand up, I was wrong about the Vikings. But with the
We
Packers,
appreciate that.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to see Jordan Love yet, if that makes any sense. And he's literally on my bench in fantasy football, and I still don't know if I want to see him back yet. It's also because I have Brock Purdy
Yeah.
and Jane Daniels, but
I don't know. I really like what Green Bay's been able to do. I think that Josh Jacobs, he might need to get more involved in this offense, but at the same time, like they've been kind of doing it fine without him getting involved. He's getting touches.
yeah,
I guess involved isn't the right word, but like I don't know. His success has been kind of hit or miss, but
definitely.
it seems to be working for Green Bay. And on the Minnesota side, for me, the craziest thing is they're not really even they're winning without Justin Jefferson just being a complete demon, in my opinion. Like, he's not,
Yeah.
having like these 10 receptions, like 130-yard games. He's been kind of like just a normal wide receiver one, but it's been working for them, man. They are really figuring it out in Minnesota. I'm gonna give a score prediction. Minnesota 27, Green Bay 19.
Okay. I'm actually going to go for a Green Bay win just because I think there's been a lot of guys on the Vikings that have been like key contributors early in this season that I don't think I can trust for a fourth week in a row.
Okay.
So I'm going to take the Packers, especially at home. I'm going to take the Packers. I'm going to go 21-17 Packers.
Okay.
And I'm mainly talking about Jalen Naylor. He's not getting his fourth week with a touchdown. Okay, next game. Steelers, a 1.5 point favorite on the road versus the Indianapolis Colts. I kind of just going to work with the assumption that the Steelers will win this based off defense. But, like, the Colts are, like, the most volatile team in the NFL right now. Like, Anthony Richardson in particular is, like, the most hit-or-miss quarterback you could find because he might throw 3 picks. Or he's going to throw, like, 8 passes in the game and have, like 290 yards on 8 passes.
Yeah, and like 70 yards rushing.
Yeah,
and
like rushing touchdown and 2 passing touchdowns. Both, like, all 3 of those over 50 yards.
Yeah.
He is unbelievable.
I don't know. I'm really, really liking the Steelers and how they match up against the Colts.
I agree.
We learned against the Chargers that the Steelers can still be effective against a good offensive line, but I will say I think the Chargers overall did the best job that anyone has done against us in our 3 games. They were really solid, especially Joe Alt against TJ Watt. Really thought TJ Watt was just going to embarrass him, but Joe Alt looked pretty good. But back to Steelers Colts. I don't know if the Colts can protect Anthony Richardson like that. And I think a lot of it maybe is not the Colts offensive line, but it's Anthony Richardson's kind of like movement in the pocket. I feel like it can be kind of inconsistent and get him in trouble sometimes. And the Steelers secondary looks really, really, really good. So it's going to have to be a Jonathan Taylor show. But then again, we shut down J.K. Dobbins last week, and he's been tearing it up.
True.
So
yeah, I think
I don't know.
I think for the Colts, their advantage here, at least in the run game, compared to the Chargers, is the fact they have a mobile quarterback and running back, like 2 guys that are primed to make big plays in the running game at the same, on the field at the same time. Definitely makes it a little bit tougher for the Steelers' run defense to stop them. I do still think it's a fantastic run defense, and I just think that the Colts are kind of lucky, like, that this is the team they're coming up against after Kenny Moore got a little banged up last week on that play. Him and DJ Moore collided and both of them went down. This is probably the team you want to be playing if your corner is not at 100% strength. Because Chris Lamons as well, who's another corner on the team, is also banged up. So with I like what Justin Fields is doing, because it's been more successful than he's seen in the past. It's just, if you can't get the passing game going, I don't see a way where this is sustainable against every team. It might work against the Colts. I just don't see this being sustainable as the season rolls on if you can't get the passing game going. With that being said, I do think the Steelers are going to win. And I'm actually going to take them 16-13. Kind of an odd score, but a lot of field goals.
I'm going to take the Steelers 24, Colts 10.
Okay. Yeah, I just kind of see this game being a lot of action on the ground. And so I don't think it'll get high scoring because the clock's just going to be ticking all day.
Well, I think it's going to be some turnovers.
That definitely could happen.
I would be damn surprised if Anthony Richardson doesn't lose a fumble or throw a pick against the Steelers.
That's fair.
I mean,
yeah, that's fair. All right. Next game, we got Broncos versus the Jets. The Jets 7.5 point favorites at home. I think this is a trap for the Jets.
Yeah?
Yeah, the Bo Nix and the Broncos coming off of a beatdown on the Buccaneers. Bo got his big game out of the way. The Caleb still hasn't, like we mentioned earlier. And the Jets are coming off of a pretty solid victory over the Patriots. Um, Certainly nothing to be mad about out of the Jets in that game. But just the fact that the Broncos like have showed up once gives me a little more confidence that they could do it again. And like I don't know if it's more telling of the Buccaneers or if it's more telling of the Broncos the way that game went. Um,
Yeah.
but I would like to just kind of take the momentum that Bo Nix had. And look, I don't know if they'll win, but 7.5 points doesn't look good. That just doesn't look right with where these two teams are at, in my opinion.
Yeah. After the Jets and Patriots game, I completely disagree with you on how this is a trap game.
Okay.
And for me, it kind of goes down into Aaron Rodgers looked like he did 10 years ago against the Patriots. Again, I don't know how consistent that's going to be.
Yeah.
But coming off of a really good game, I thought Breece Hall was mostly effective. So was Braylon Allen coming out of the backfield as well. They both looked really, really good together. I think the Jets defense is going to be a little bit better than Tampa's. And I don't know. I think the Buccaneers just kind of had an off game and the Broncos capitalized it.
Okay.
I'm happy for Bo Nix, but I believe in the Jets being more consistent than the Broncos, so I'm gonna rock with New York. And again, I wanted to reiterate that Aaron Rodgers game was so much fun
Oh
to
yeah,
watch
it was
against New
great.
England. He looked amazing. It was very, very cool.
Yeah, I think my biggest reservation with the Jets is the fact that they didn't like run it up on the Patriots. Like I think the Patriots are the worst team in the NFL. If Andy Dalton's going to stay as the quarterback of the Panthers, the Patriots are the worst team in the NFL. And
Yeah,
I think the Jets are capable on offense of running it up, and they didn't.
yeah,
And this is the point in the season where you do. This is the time where you start running it up on some teams,
yeah.
regardless of what's going on in the game. And I just didn't see the Jets capitalize on that. And I guess probably for the sake of the health of their players, didn't run it up. But I feel like it was a position where they could have and they didn't. And like I said, I don't think the Broncos are necessarily going to win this game. I just think it's going to be trickier than it looks for the Jets to just easily get a win here.
That's fair. And again, though, going back to the Broncos side, I do not like PS2 at all this year. And
Mhm.
outside of him, the Broncos still have a good defense. But when you're getting the spread like you did last week from Aaron Rodgers, where Conklin looks great, Lazard looks great, Mike Williams looks great, Garrett Wilson looks great, and Breece Hall looks great, all in the pass game.
Yeah.
I do not see how the Broncos are going to be able to do anything about that. I'm going to go ahead and give a score prediction. The Jets run it up here 31-21.
Okay. I'm going to go Jets 27, Broncos 20.
Okay.
All right, next game. Eagles, 2-point favorites on the road versus the Buccaneers. This one's really hard to gauge because, like we just talked about, was this an off week for the Buccaneers? Was it maybe a little more telling than we think about this Buccaneers team and where they're at? Yeah, I think at least on the defensive side, it's maybe a little more telling. On the offensive side, maybe it is just an off week. That's the way that I'm looking at it from the way that game went. But we also seen very weird performances from the Eagles. Like the Falcons' loss, I think going into the next week was a little more telling than we thought it would be. And when they played the Saints and barely sneak away with a win, it's just so obvious now that they can't you can't rely on this offense to step up in AJ Brown's absence.
Yeah, and maybe in Devonta Smith's absence after that.
Yeah, they're
Crazy
both
dirty hit that he
questionable
took.
as of right now. I don't know kind of where they're trending at the moment,
Yeah.
but both of them are questionable as we speak.
Did you see the hit on Devonta Smith?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
That was pretty brutal.
Did you think it was dirty?
I don't know. I don't mind it. I kind of like
I
seeing
like
guys
to-
get rough. That sounded weird.
I don't know. He had like two guys on his back. It kind of looked like he was already being brought down, and he also wasn't even moving forward. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And that dude just came in and popped him really high. Like I I love physical football. I'm a fan of an AFC North
Yeah.
team, but like I thought that was a little bit like and he's also on my fantasy team in another
Who
league.
who
So
was it that hit him?
I do not know.
Okay, because I was about to say, like,
Don't
if
remember.
Derwin James got a suspension for the hit that he just did, how is that guy not suspended?
That's a I agree with that.
Somebody called Derek Brooks. He's the one that's in charge of that, I guess.
Is he actually?
Yeah. Like
No
he's
way.
he's the one that made like the final decision on
Wow.
it. And then John Runyon is also one of the guys that makes the decision. And so this happens and John Runyon's like doubling down on it and everybody's just posting videos of him just like hitting guys like 5 minutes after the whistle.
Obliterating
Yeah.
players. Yeah. That's wild.
I'm trying to see where we're at injuries wise with the Eagles.
Might as well just go ahead and get Vontaze Burfict in there too.
Yeah, so Devontae Smith was not seen at the media access portion of Thursday's practice, obviously with a concussion. And A.J. Brown was not present at the start of Thursday's practice. Also, Britton Covey going on the IR with a shoulder injury. So their fourth string wide receivers will hurt. I think this pretty well helps the Buccaneers for sure.
But you need Dallas Goedert to go 10 for 170 again.
Yeah, exactly. Then again, like 70 of those yards came from one play.
Yeah.
But if this was any other team, I'd be like, yeah, they can win. But it's the Buccaneers, and I don't know what to say. Like I don't know where they're at right now. That game last week totally reset everything. Because like.
Yeah, and I mean,
take that out, and they're coming off a win against the Lions, where their defense stepped up big time.
And Chris Godwin has been ridiculous this season as well. On top of that,
super weird game.
On the Eagles side, we cannot forget about Saquon Barkley, though.
Of course not.
We talked about receivers a lot. They still have him. He's coming off of a crazy game against the Saints. But then again, on the Buccaneers side, if we want to talk running back. I still, I love Rachaad White for his contribution to my fantasy team last year, but Bucky Irving,
he's
man,
awesome.
He needs the rock more. And I feel like if coming off of 9 carries, 70 yards, let's say he has a similar game, but they give him like 15 carries, you probably win the game.
Yeah.
Especially against the banged up Eagles team. So I'm going to take Tampa 9-3, and I'm not even kidding.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm not going to go that low scoring. I'm going to take the Eagles, and I'm going to go 18-14.
Okay.
That's a weird ass score. I know, but I'm trying to have some fun here. And let's go ahead and just bring the fun right back. Bengals -3.5 on the road versus the Panthers. Andy Dalton revenge game. This is so set up for the Panthers to win. The Bengals are about to be 0-4. Like the Bengals have been favored in 2 of their 3 games. And in the 2 games they were favored in, they lost. And they were touchdown favorites in both of them.
And all I have to say is, for the Cincinnati Bengals, your 2015 travesties of what Pac-Man and Vontaze Burfict did to the NFL are finally catching up to you. This is why.
Last week, the offense showed up, though. I'll give them that. Honestly, the last 2 weeks, the offense has showed up. So I'll give them
finally,
that.
Getting there.
Yeah, the Panthers' defense is dog shit, so that helps.
Yeah.
But the Panthers are more than capable of winning this game with Andy Dalton at quarterback. Because the Bengals defense also sucks. This feels like it's going to be a high scoring game, but it also feels like both offenses could have a little bit of hangover from last week.
Yeah, for sure. I think if you're the Bengals, try to get the ball out of Burrow's hands. See if you can get Zach Moss and Chase Brown involved. That way you're keeping the Panthers offense off the ball and your defense off the field as well. So, and on the Panthers side, I think it just comes down to Andy Dalton just has more confidence than Bryce Young. He can sling it and he doesn't have any fear. I mean, Deontay Johnson, 8 receptions and 122 yards in 2024 is ridiculous.
Yeah, and I'll let you know right now, this line has actually shifted another point in the Bengals' direction, so they're now a 4.5 point favorite.
Yeah, and I
I don't love
don't
it.
see that.
I don't love it. In
I
my
do
my
not love that
biggest
at all.
thing, I do know Carolina, they're going to be without Adam Thielen. Um, at least I believe so. Um, seemed like the injury was pretty brutal on that touchdown pass that he caught.
Okay.
Not necessarily seeing anything yet. Yeah, okay, yeah, he's on the IR. Um,
Well, there's no reason that Adam Thielen should still be better than like Jonathan Mingo. So Jonathan Mingo
yeah,
just honestly has stepped the fuck up at this point.
yeah, and like it, Leggett looked pretty good last week too. Deontay Johnson was great. Like Andy Dalton made
Yeah.
Deontay Johnson look good, which is saying
Yeah.
something. Um, I think for me with the Bengals, they haven't figured out the run game yet. Zach Moss still
No.
certainly is not there, and they're not utilizing Chase Brown all that much. I do
Yeah.
like that last week, even with Jamar and T. Higgins, they got Andre Yosivas incorporated in the game. And I think
Yeah.
he's going to be an asset throughout this season. Personally, just because the naturally all the attention is going to Jamar and T. Higgins, as it should.
Yeah.
And that's why in past years Tyler Boyd could show up every now and then and just have a good day. It's the same reason that I think Andre Yosivas is going to do it. He's quickly emerged as a much better candidate for wide receiver 3 than Jermaine Burton. Not to say that Jermaine Burton can't have an impact. It just seems like as of right now, he's not the guy that's going to step up.
Yeah, and I wanted to go back to Zach Moss because like this Bengals team is really starting to make me wonder whether it's their scheme or him. Because
Yeah.
if you go back and look at last season, Zach Moss had some like Jonathan Taylor games with the Colts. Like it was
Yeah.
like Jonathan Taylor was still healthy. And you know, against the Commanders, he definitely had his best game of the season. He had like over 90 yards total.
Yeah. But
With the touchdown.
that's
So
like 90% of his yards for the whole season.
exactly. Yeah. So he needs to get it together. I think he's better than Chase Brown personally.
Yeah, I do too. I
I'm
just
not
think
saying
both of them need to
rule out.
play.
Yeah, both of them definitely need to play. I'm gonna go ahead and give a score prediction. 27-24 Panthers.
Okay. I'm going to go 27-21 Panthers.
Okay.
All right, next game. Jaguars on the road facing the Texans. Texans 6.5-point favorites. Yeah, I'm so out on the Jaguars. Like what is there to believe in anymore?
Yeah, we
Like-
were saved by the fact there was a Monday night doubleheader because I was not gonna watch the whole fucking Jacksonville game from Monday.
Yeah, like actually,
Horrible.
and we've got another scenario just like it this week, which we'll talk about. But like, I knew that the Jaguars were going to be bad. I think I had them coming in last in this division, anyways. And lo and behold, they are. But it might be time to start turning on what the Jags have built. Like,
Yeah.
maybe it is time to turn on Trevor Lawrence or even Travis Etienne for that matter. I also think Doug Peterson is certainly up there as well as somebody that could get some blame. Because this team's not doing anything good. It's not like it's just the quarterback play or it's just the running game or it's just the defense. They're not doing anything well. And somebody has to figure it out.
I think the only bright spot that the Jacksonville Jaguars have on their team is I like what Brian Thomas Jr. has been able to do with them. He looks really, really good.
He's like
but
the only one.
But even that, like his contribution is not like what we've seen from rookies in the past, and it's surely not good enough to get them a win.
No,
so
not at all.
It's I am completely with you. It's all bad for Jacksonville. All bad.
Yeah. Do we start thinking of like what's the next route if this continues? Like, are we going to be looking at a QB change? You just paid him a lot of money.
I don't know.
But at the end of this season, I think the conversation is going to be like, are they going to draft a quarterback?
Yeah. I think we still pump the brakes on Trevor Lawrence, but we got to find a different running back for sure, and a new offensive line.
I agree.
I even still would say that your receiving weapons are still decent. You have something there, I think, with Gabe Davis, Kirk, and Brian Thomas Jr. But like the offensive line and running
Yeah.
back got to go, and then your whole secondary and linebackers, except for Josh Allen, whatever the
Yeah.
fuck hyphenated
Hines
name
Allen.
is now. But yeah, um, yeah, Jacksonville's got to get it figured out. They might be the worst team in the NFL this season.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think they're worse than the Panthers with Andy Dalton.
Yeah,
So,
no, I think it's between the Jags and the Patriots, which is just Mac Jones's career path. So what a
yeah.
surprise. Yeah, look, the Texans are going to thrash them. No ifs, ands, or buts. The Texans have things figured out, I think, at this point. I'd safely say that.
I don't know.
I know
How,
they're
how
playing
can you
some
say
close
that after a
games.
34-7 game?
Yeah, I know. The Vikings are just really good. They really are. I don't know how to explain it, but like the Texans didn't even necessarily look that bad in that loss, which is crazy because they only scored 7 points. Like CJ needs to, not throw picks, but I think that's also just a product of the pressure that the Vikings bring, which the Jags don't even come close to. And I think this Texans defense certainly had just a bad day in general. Like the Vikings and Aaron Jones in particular was having his way in the running game, and it was setting up easy passing opportunities for Darnold. Like Darnold, 17 for 28, 181 doesn't look good until you realize he had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's ridiculous.
It's a weird spot that the Texans were in last week, but I'm not going to judge them solely based on that one. I'm going to take the Texans. I'm going to go 31-6.
I'm gonna take the Texans 28-13.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know
It'll be a little
why
bit closer.
I think I maybe have too much faith in the Texans, but we'll see. All right. Into the 4:00 games, Commanders Cardinals. This just looks so much fun.
Oh yeah,
This looks like so much fun.
We get to see quarterbacks run around all game.
Yeah, and like the Cardinals were pretty underwhelming last week, but these two defenses are just set up to fail.
Yeah,
that's
the
really best part of this game is that the defenses on both sides are abysmal.
It's literally like watching college football.
Yeah, and Jaden Daniels is a hell of a college football player. You got 2 Heisman winners. Like both of these guys' best moments in their entire careers came in college. So I'm fine with it if it looks like a college game because like Monday Night Football for Jaden Daniels was like the big performance for a young quarterback.
Oh man,
what a fucking game! Like he was doing it all. Jaden Daniels was doing what we've wanted to see out of Anthony Richardson.
Yeah,
100%. Like that is the best way to describe what Jaden Daniels did. It's just what we expect every week from Anthony Richardson. We never get.
I mean, you're out of your mind. Only 2 incomplete passes.
Yeah.
It's silly, brother.
And oh my God, that pass to Terry McLaurin for the touchdown. Unfucking believable. Unbelievable.
Wild. Yeah. I love this guy. He might be one of my favorite players in the NFL already.
Yeah. I think, are we saying as of right now, Offensive Rookie of the Year is easily him? Or is Neighbors in the conversation?
Neighbors is definitely in the conversation for me.
Yeah. Caleb's way out.
But Jaden Daniels, Caleb's way out. Jaden Daniels is so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
I agree. A lot of fun. And this Cardinals offense is pretty fun too. James Conner and Kyler work well together.
Yes.
And like the Cardinals are finding a new receiver to throw to every week.
Yeah. It's just, the Lions definitely proved if you take Connor out of the game, the Cardinals are going to be kind of scrambling. But then again, it's how often can you take James Conner out of the game? Like when does it just become, James Conner's just that good?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So, and then, Marvin Harrison, week 1, he was figuring some stuff out. I don't like 11 targets, 5 receptions for him against the Lions, but at the same time, like, he still got a touchdown in that game. I would say he's on his way to, figuring it out.
Definitely. Sure. I think there was just a lot of bullshit going on all offseason.
Yeah.
And to go into week 1 and then it just like looked like it was going to continue. the fact that he's where he's at now is a good sign.
Yeah.
I do still think
sure.
I feel like if we're looking for consistency, I guess the Cardinals offense is probably there. But also like the Commanders kind of do everything the Cardinals do, but I trust some of these guys a little more.
Yeah.
Like I kind of right now I'm trusting Jaden Daniels to have a good performance more than Kyler Murray. And I'm trusting Brian Robinson Jr. to have a good performance just as much as I'm trusting James Conner at this point in the run game.
Yeah.
And both defenses, there's nothing to expect from. This just feels like a high scorer that is just going to go to whoever's got the ball last, honestly.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and give a score prediction for this one. Are we ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Commanders 35, Cardinals 31.
Oh, okay. Big time score.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, I believe this is the highest point total of the week. 50.5 is pretty hard to come by in the NFL. Arizona 3.5 point favorite. I'm gonna ride with Jaden Daniels. I'm gonna go Commanders. Let's go Commanders 31, Cardinals 28. Game-winning field goal for the Commanders.
Okay.
I love calling a good game-winning field goal because they almost never happen. Like last week, there was not a lot of field goals.
No.
And of course, that's when I started calling these game-winning field goals. Okay, next game, though. Patriots on the road to the 49ers, -10. Dude. Try me. Try and convince me the 49ers aren't going to wax them.
Man.
All you have to do is stop Ramondre Stevenson. That's it. And that's really not that hard.
No, not at all. Ramondre's kind of looked like, he's been better.
Yes,
than
definitely.
Last season
But it's
year.
against teams that aren't capable of stopping the run.
Yeah.
Also,
have a good one against the Jets.
Is Juwan Jennings going to just come out and do it again?
Probably. I don't think so.
I don't think he is either. The secondary for the Patriots is at least relatively respectable. I think this is much more of a Jordan Mason game, personally.
I think if we're predicting very kind of more obscure things, I think Brandon Ayuk gets in a fight this game.
Oh, I love that. With who?
Yeah.
Because it won't be Christian Gonzalez. Christian Gonzalez is too nice.
Man.
He won't get in a fight.
Definitely. J.C. Jackson's going to piss him off.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
J.C. Jackson's going to piss him off.
Well,
And Brandon
Jabril
Ayuk.
Peppers.
Oh, yeah, Jabril.
Jabril is feisty.
I love Jabril. Yeah. Dude, I held him so high coming out of college. I wanted the Steelers to draft him so bad.
I hated him, but it's just because he played for Michigan. But I did think he was really cool to watch a guy play. I think he lined up at every single defensive position and also had snaps at running back, wide receiver, and quarterback.
And I think he returned some kicks and punts.
Oh, yeah, he definitely returned punts.
Just a wild college athlete. But yeah,
unbelievable. Yeah, I think the 49ers are just going to wax them, whether it be in the air or on the ground. They're just better.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, even with the 49ers kind of catching these week 2, week 3 kind of woes,
weird-ass
they're going to be completely fine. Yeah, very, very weird games.
Yeah.
I think this one's 24-10. 49ers.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go I don't want to do the exact same score as Thursday Night Football last week. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Or Monday night? When did the Patriots and Jets play? Am I dumb?
Last Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say 24-3, but I'm going to go let's go 21-7 49ers. I don't think we're going to see Juwan Jennings catch 4 touchdowns.
No.
I'll say that. Next game, weird matchup once again. Browns-Raiders. Raiders 2-point favorite at home. These two teams are in the weirdest spot ever. Because the Raiders offense once again didn't look all that bad last week, but they got outscored significantly by the Panthers.
Yeah.
And the Browns exist. That's maybe the most positive thing going on with the Cleveland Browns franchise is its existence right now.
Yeah, they woke up alive today.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Deshaun Watson did as well.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he woke up alive.
He sucks as a human and as a football player.
Yeah. Definitely. Absolutely, definitely. I mean, they even got Amari Cooper involved for the first time this season. Still lost.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was to the Giants.
Yeah.
Like, it couldn't look
It
worse.
keeps getting worse.
Yeah.
Lord.
And like the Raiders, I don't know what to think about them.
On top of that, did you watch the Cowboys and Browns game week 1?
A little bit, yeah.
I think we've kind of had a quiet season from Max Crosby. Go watch Micah Parsons week 1 and tell me that Max Crosby isn't going to do the same thing.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be brutal.
And Max Crosby is questionable.
You know good and damn well.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Oh, he better play.
Yeah,
because that motherfucker, he will probably like before the game be thinking about what Deshaun Watson has gotten in trouble for, like how bad of a human he is. Like that's the kind of motivation that Max Crosby would be going into this game.
Max Crosby is going into this game.
Animal.
He's going to be going into this game thinking about like what flavor backwoods is he going to be smoking in the locker room.
Yeah,
that's what Max Crosby's thinking against the Browns.
Yeah.
And Devontae Adams is thinking, how the fuck can I get Gardner Minshew off my team? He loves Aiden O'Connell. Yeah. Devontae Adams
and I respect
loves Aiden O'Connell, and I kind of like it too. But yeah, this game, I'm not watching this game. Like I know that I know I'm breaking my own rule of saying there needs to be 4 games on at 4:00. I'm not watching Browns Raiders, and I'm probably not watching Patriots 49ers.
Well, yeah, we know that Jack Jones isn't going to want to tackle anybody. Yeah, that's for sure.
That is for sure. Let's go score predictions though. For Raiders Browns, I'm gonna go Raiders 14, Browns 12.
Raiders 20, Browns 10.
All right. Final game of the 4:00 slate: Chiefs Chargers. So my big thing with the Chiefs is like, yeah, this should be a beatdown. 7.5 point favorite on the road. Herbert probably not going to play or continue to play way too hurt if he does play. My only thing is like the Chiefs are literally 3 plays away from 0-3.
Yeah.
You had missed flag in the Cincinnati, or they had a flag in the Cincinnati game that got them the win.
Yeah.
A missed flag kind of got them the win against the Falcons. And then Isaiah Likely's toes got them the win against the Ravens. Like the Chiefs are 3 plays, literally 3 plays away from being 0-3 right now.
Yeah, I just and Rashee Rice shouldn't be on the football field.
No, and he probably won't be next year, but
oh man.
The problem is just the Chargers are just so bad right now if Herbert's out.
Yeah, it would have to take a miracle game from JK to, bolster them offensively. And I think Joe Alt's going to miss a couple weeks.
I think he is as well. And they lost another offensive lineman in last week's game.
Yeah.
And Derwin James is suspended.
Guess it's the Quentin Johnston show. Why is he literally like one of their best players left?
He does look good though.
He looks amazing.
They're turning him into a good red zone threat, which is exactly what he should have been for every year in the NFL.
But even in 2024, when he catches it in open field, I feel like he's still pretty fast for his size.
Yeah, he is.
Like he's a specimen for sure.
For sure. That's what the appealing thing was about him at TCU.
Yeah.
He just hasn't showed it till now. He just needed Keenan Allen and Mike Williams to get the fuck out of his way.
Yeah, bitch.
Trying to get rid of those old heads, man.
I know.
Yeah, look, this is going to take
I like what I see, though.
Either miracle work from J.K. Dobbins or Taylor Heineke, I guess. Or Patrick Mahomes just going to roll. He's probably going to throw a pick, though. I'll go ahead and write that one in. He's throwing a lot of interceptions.
Is it still going to be Carson Steele for the Chiefs?
I'm not sure. Let me check. Pacheco is on the IR till the October 20th, actually.
Okay, yeah. So Carson Steele's still the man for
Yep.
sure. Had a good game against Atlanta.
Yeah,
He's all right.
not too bad.
Um, I guess the last topic that I would have to talk about with this game, kind of a little bit boring, I would say, for the Chiefs and Chargers. But will Kelsey ever like
Turn up.
catch more than 3 passes in
Yeah.
a game this
So he
season?
hasn't hit his receptions or receiving yard prop in any game yet.
Damn.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what's going on because it's not like their passing game is like wavering at all.
Yeah. Clock's ticking on
It's
that
just
Taylor Swift breakup thing.
oh,
That I
I bet
believe
that's
the
what it
date on
is.
that was like the 28th. So
Yeah,
we're really close.
this weekend.
Yeah. Saturday.
Um,
While you're watching college football, make sure we're looking for a potential like breakup tweet from Travis Kelce.
yeah. I'm gonna give a score prediction, 35-10 Chiefs, because the Chargers
Damn.
will just be punting and punting.
Yeah, shout out
and
J.K. Scott.
punting.
He's a good punter.
He is a good punter.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say go a little bit lower scoring for the Chiefs because I don't love their offense. I'm gonna go Chiefs 24, Chargers 7. I think J.K. will
Okay.
probably get a touchdown. All right. Bills Ravens on Sunday Night Football. Ravens 2.5-point favorites at home. Very surprised to see them as a favorite. But they're more than capable of looking really good. They are. They just haven't yet.
Yeah.
I think
I can concede that.
I can see the world where people would say that they can win this game. But the Bills look like
they're
juggernauts
still
right now.
They do. The Ravens have been really consistent in
Yeah.
putting up a decent number of points. It's just their defense has kind of been surprisingly giving it up this year.
Yeah, which is weird because
I don't
this
know what's
is
going on.
a team that last year we were fucking drooling over their defense.
I know. Yeah, I haven't noticed where the problem is, in my opinion. I don't know what's going on with them.
Yeah, like it just seems like they're just giving up too many points. Like obviously the Chiefs loss.
Maybe it's been a
is
lot of
difficult, but
third. I was sorry. I was gonna say maybe it's been a lot of like third down conversions or like second and longs where you just really wouldn't expect
yeah,
a conversion there. But I don't know.
I can check. Their third down
sorry to
conversion.
cut you off there.
No, not a problem. I'm trying to find their third down conversion. Thought I had it here. So third down. No, pretty average between them and their opponents. Third downs, the Ravens offense 14 for 34, opponents 15 for 34. They're giving up a lot of passing first downs though. 47 passing first downs.
Damn.
And also by penalties. I think penalties have been a big issue for them on defense.
Yeah. I guess we have been kind of seeing a decline in Marlon Mumphrey. I think that's kind of fair to say.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's definitely slowed down, but I think that's probably part of the reason they drafted Nate Wiggins, but he hasn't looked great yet either.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the penalties it seems to be the spot. So their opponents have only drawn 15 penalties for 104 yards, and the Ravens have drawn 31 penalties for 278 yards. They're averaging 92 penalty yards a game.
Oh, man.
That's where the issue is,
Yeah.
if anybody was wondering. So why would it be any different against the Bills? If penalties are the problem, I don't see that just changing week over week.
Not at all, especially like you said against the Bills.
Because even if the penalties go down, I would only assume that the defense is just going to be a little more hesitant. Obviously, a bunch of those penalties were those illegal formations against the Chiefs in week 1. They got like 5 of them. But
yeah,
I think defensive wise, like you're either going to keep playing how you're playing, which is getting you penalties, or you're going to play a little more reserved, which won't pay off well against a high-firing offense right now.
Yeah, Josh Allen's been slinging it, man, and Khalil Shakir looks really, really good, and James Cook out of the backfield looks unstoppable.
Keon got a touchdown last week.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah. It only took
Man,
45 points.
yeah, the one that I have in 2 of my leagues.
Yeah.
Uh, brutal. Brutal with Keon Coleman. But,
I just don't
yeah, I mean,
understand how how are the Ravens favorites? That's my biggest hang up here with this game. Josh Allen has been unbelievable. James Cook has been so consistent. Like, what gives the Ravens the favorite here other than being at home?
yeah, I have no idea. Absolutely no idea.
I think for me the Bills are the easy selection. I'm sure it'll be a close game for sure, but I can't go against the Bills right now. I'm gonna go ahead and do my final score. I'm gonna take the Bills. Let's go Bills 28, Baltimore 24.
I think if you're Baltimore, your only, chance of really winning this game is you have to do what you did last week against the Cowboys. Run the ball 45 times and score 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Keep it, keep Josh Allen on the bench. So, I don't know if they're really going to be able to pull that off. So I'm going to take the Bills 24-21.
Okay. Well, let's get into the Monday Night Football doubleheader for the second week in a row. First game, Titans versus Dolphins. Dolphins a 1-point favorite at home. I might genuinely throw up talking about this game. It's so bad.
Yeah.
It is really bad.
Yeah.
Like, thank God there's
At least
another
we got the
game to
doubleheader.
watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, this one comes on first, so we have to deal with like 30 minutes of it before the other one starts. But
How are we going to survive?
yeah, I'll tell you exactly how. Don't watch the first 30 minutes of Titans Dolphins.
Yeah. Man, I really wanted the Titans to be better this year.
Me too.
I think you did too.
I did.
Yeah.
But Will Levis just ain't working. Not in this offense.
No. Not at all. And only handing the ball off to Tony Pollard 6 times? Like, what happened?
You know what quarterback would be
What
great
happened?
in this offense?
What? Or who?
Malik Willis. I hate to say it, but he would work so well in a short passing offense.
They should have drafted that guy, I guess.
Yeah, he would have definitely worked out in Tennessee.
Oh man.
You know what?
D-Hop finally got involved.
And like with the Dolphins, like, are we even getting Skylar Thompson? Are we gonna get Tyler Huntley after like what, a week of practice? We're gonna get Tim Boyle.
I need Pro
again?
Bowl. I need Pro Bowl quarterback Tyler Huntley.
I agree. I don't care if he doesn't know the plays. Just ask
guy.
Josh Dobbs how that works. Just go out there. Like, dude, you've got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Just go out there and say, go to the end zone. Tyler Huntley, just throw the ball in the air and somebody will catch it.
And that's all you got to do.
But like, I'm not putting up with another week of like, I think Alec Ingold had 4 receptions. I don't want that. I love fullbacks.
No.
I do. But he shouldn't get 4 receptions. I shouldn't hear Durham Smythe's name too many times in a Dolphins game. That's another problem. So yeah, look, I don't know. I'm gonna take the Titans, I guess. I'm gonna go Titans 10, Dolphins 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna match you on that.
Okay. Now we'll talk about a much better game. Seahawks, Lions. Lions 3.5-point favorites at home. All I care about in this game is that the Lions are wearing black jerseys.
Oh, yes.
They're awesome.
Let's go.
They look so good. And I have a big issue where I like to pick the team that's wearing the cool jerseys. Look, tell me that, like, I think it was last season on Thursday Night Football, the Texans debuted those beautiful red helmets, those candy paint helmets.
Yeah.
Bro, I knew they were going to win that game. And it's like, if the Bucks wear the creamsicle jerseys, or the Eagles wear Kelly Green, or this weekend the Falcons are wearing the throwback helmets, it just does something. It does.
Yeah.
It does. It changes something for these teams. And they always go out and kill it. So I'm going with the Lions. I've been so low on Geno Smith, I can't even believe it.
Yeah, you're still low on Geno, huh?
Yeah, I don't care what he does this season. That's one that I'll stick with. I don't care.
I'm just excited that Kenny McIntosh got couple of carries.
Yeah. He wasn't all that
Shout out
bad
Kenny.
either. He wasn't good.
No. Zach Charbonnet, though, damn.
He's good, man.
And I guess in fantasy football, I'm just gonna have to decide on whether it's JSN's week or not because that
You
fucking
never
sucks.
know. You never know. DK has been
Oh,
pretty
that's brutal.
surefire, luckily. I think
Yeah,
DK
yeah,
bails out
DK's been
Geno
good.
Smith once a game.
You think so?
Yeah. Like every time.
that's
You
fair.
can count on like a DK Metcalf 35+ yard touchdown in every game. And then Geno can go back to being ass.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
I don't know how I
what
feel
else
about
do
the
we really
Lions.
have with this game?
I don't know
Yeah.
how I feel about this offense right now. It just seems odd. Like something's not right.
Jared Goff's been throwing way more picks than
Yeah.
what we're accustomed to.
And we all know the
Um,
phenomenon. If he throws interceptions, then they're going to lose.
Yeah. I think as far as their running game goes, Jahmyr Gibbs has definitely gotten better,
I agree.
and David Montgomery is still doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
Yeah, those two guys are still in the right spot. Amon-Ra just continues to get banged up every week and just play through it. Jameson Williams does look way better. Hand up, I was wrong on Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been like perfect.
No.
I would say.
Sam Laporta's hurt.
Yeah, that's killing them, I think. I think that's the biggest issue they've run into is that they don't have Laporta like they did last year.
Yeah, he just looks like he's been banged up all year, and now after the Bronco, or was it no, they who did the Lions play last week? Cardinals, sorry. I think like him and was it like Amon-Ra ran into each other or something, and
Sounds right.
Laporta hurt himself, but yeah, they haven't been able to get him involved all season long. And then Jameson Williams, you might have been right. You might have been right about him. He just can't really, I don't know, inconsistent there at wide receiver too.
Which I kind of expect out of his style of play. Honestly.
Yeah. I still love him, but 1 receptions for 9 yards is not going to cut it.
No,
So,
not at all. Especially against the Cardinals defense. All right.
yeah.
Score prediction. I'm gonna take the Lions mainly on the defensive side. Is where I'm gonna favor them here. And I'm gonna take the Lions 21, Seahawks 17.
All right, I'm gonna ride the hot hand. I'm gonna take the Seahawks 27, Lions 20.
Okay. All right. I do have to remind you, the Seahawks they're hot because they beat the Dolphins last week. They beat the tandem
and the 2 teams
of
before that.
Skylar Thompson. Yeah, the Broncos.
Dude, Lions are iffy, brother.
They are. I agree.
Iffy.
Hey, I'm never gonna question picks. We don't do that here. We don't pick shame.
No big shaming.
All right, that is it for NFL Week 4. A lot of good games this weekend. A lot of ones to watch. I would say that's what this week seems to be. And we're getting to like proving time. Like there's some teams where, 3 weeks in you could still be dealing with some weird circumstances. Week 4 through like 7 is where you prove it. Is what I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well. If you're in the MLB, you better have been proving it before now because the season is pretty much over. MLB Playoff Picture is what we're talking about now. So in the last week, since the last episode of this, the Astros clinched the AL West, the Phillies clinched the NL East, and the Guardians clinched the AL Central. The Orioles have clinched playoff berth. They currently sit 4 games behind the Yankees at time of recording. In the AL East, but the Yankees' magic number is 1. So they just need to win a game or the Orioles lose a game, and the Yankees have got it. The Padres and Dodgers both clinched playoff berth. The Dodgers barely snuck by with a win on Wednesday night in a super close game. They play again tonight as we're recording, so the Dodgers have the chance to clinch the NL West tonight as we speak, but we don't know the outcome yet. You guys would already know that. The Dodgers seeking the best record in the NL as well, They are now, I believe, a half game ahead of the Phillies for that best record in the National League. So a win tonight would be huge in getting the Dodgers potentially to the number 1 seed, which not a lot of people saw coming. I think most people probably thought the Phillies were going to hold that one down, but they've kind of slowed down here at the end of the year. And then,
Yeah,
oh yeah, go ahead.
or go ahead. Sorry. Well, I was just gonna say, the Yankees are kind of fumbling it against this series against the Orioles
Yeah,
so far. Um, that hadn't been really fun, but luckily we got hot, way before that. But yeah, this postseason, I can already tell it's gonna be so much fun.
yeah.
It's gonna be a really, really, really good one.
This is one of the first seasons where like I don't think we're gonna have a 100-win team, which
Yeah,
is crazy. Like that
wild.
doesn't happen. It's like kind of unbelievable. Like I can't even think of the last. Like I'm gonna look it up real quick, but um, like the fact that the Phillies and Dodgers are fighting for the best record in the league right now, and they both have 94 wins with like 3 to 4 games to go is crazy.
I know.
Um, sorry, I'm
Wild.
trying to pull up this. Um, obviously excluding 2020. The last time there wasn't a 100-win team was 2014. And
Really?
yeah, coincidentally, the team that was the closest to 100 was the Los Angeles Angels in 2014. They were
Wow.
98 and 64. All right. Well, back to what we were talking about. If the Brewers lose a game or the Dodgers and Phillies win a game from here on out, the Brewers will clinch the 3 seed. And the Mets Braves series got way more interesting because it was postponed and now is a doubleheader on Monday because of the hurricane,
Oh,
which I don't like because nobody else is playing. So we're just going to have to watch. Like, we're going to have to play the Royals, and the Mets are going to play the Brewers. And we'll see what happens this weekend. And meanwhile, the Diamondbacks just get to watch as we duke it out for that third spot.
that's scary.
Yeah.
That is
I
scary.
don't like it, especially because whoever wins or whoever ends up getting that spot, the next day you're playing on the road in the wild card game.
Yeah,
Because Monday was supposed to be your day off.
wild.
So that is not going to be fun for whatever team it is. You're going to be at a serious
Yeah.
disadvantage going into a 5-game series. Or sorry, is it a 3-game series in the wild card? So, yeah, we'll see how that goes, but I'm not exactly happy about it because they've known about the storm for weeks. You could have started the series on Monday instead of taking Monday off, and would have made life a whole lot
Yeah.
easier. If they started this series Monday, played Monday, Tuesday, and then only postponed Wednesday's game, would have made things a lot easier because then at least, especially because the race is between the two of us, like it could have been settled, and then they wouldn't have even had to play that last game. But with this doubleheader now, it like really shakes things up.
Yeah, and we'll have to see, man. The Braves are right there on the cusp. I just still I cannot fathom, like, I literally remember talking about the Mets on the podcast in studio with you over the summer. It is nothing like how they are now.
No, they just had a lot of
Nothing
guys
like how they are
figure
now.
it out, and like
Yeah.
and this team has looked bad at a lot of points this year, and
Yeah.
that's why I feel like even if they made the playoffs, like they're not getting past the Brewers in the first round. I think the Brewers easily take the Mets, and I think they could probably easily take the Braves. Especially
Troubling
with
times, man.
either of those teams going on the road to Milwaukee straight from Atlanta at the conclusion of this doubleheader.
Yeah, makes it a lot harder.
Yeah.
A lot harder.
I think both whoever wins this, and it sucks, it's screwed. You're essentially starting this, most likely starting the postseason down 0-1.
Yeah.
Because like this doubleheader, I don't know exactly what the times are. I'll pull up the schedule real quick, but you can safely assume they won't be done until what, 10 p.m. Like
Yeah.
that's going to be horrible.
Ugh. Poor scheduling there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they definitely should have moved this game up a day. It's all it would have taken. Just literally moving it up one day, or moving the series up one day. Because, like, we got a 5-1 win with Schwellenbach on the mound. And now what's even worse is it was going to be Schwellenbach, Sale, Fried. But, like, now Sale is going to most likely not pitch at all in the Kansas City series and go long rest and then pitch against New York, which I don't love. But Fried is going to pitch the first game versus Kansas City.
Yeah.
And Kansas City's also playing for their wild card spot. So
It's crazy,
yeah.
and I
We've got
always
an
forget how
eventful
much.
ending to look forward to. I
Yeah,
will say that.
I always forget how much scheduling affects pitchers and like
Yeah.
starting pitchers.
Oh, yeah.
It gets them really bad.
Yeah. Still a
But
very big race in the wild cards for both sides. The Royals and Tigers both at 85 wins, but the Royals have the tiebreaker over them. So the Royals are second in the wild card, Tigers third. The Twins are 2.5 games behind both of them. And they play the Marlins.
oh Lord,
They play tonight, and then they play, I believe, Friday, Saturday, Sunday against Baltimore, which Baltimore could potentially not be playing for anything. They're probably going to be locked in for the number one wild card spot in the AL. So
yeah,
super weird situation because the Royals obviously playing the Braves, which both those teams playing for something, and then the Tigers. Don't exactly remember. I know me and Colin literally talked about this on Monday. Tigers play the White Sox, and the White Sox are playing for something too because the next time the White Sox lose, they will have the worst record or the most losses in an MLB season ever. But if they don't lose again, they can't. And they're on like I think they swept the Angels to avoid it.
why?
And the Angels, man, they're bad too.
Yeah,
But yeah, we'll just we'll have to see how this all goes. Obviously, some things will
But
be different by the time you're listening to this, but very interesting end so far to the MLB season.
life would be so much easier if the Rockies were the team that were about to have the worst record,
Yeah,
not the White Sox.
yeah.
But
Also, Charlie Blackmon retired. Forgot to
oh
talk
yeah,
about that. Charlie Blackmon
yeah,
retired.
that's right.
And Nolan Arenado was at the press conference because the Cardinals were playing the Rockies.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, so that was
That's
pretty awesome.
awesome.
Shout out Chuck Nasty.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else here for the MLB? Obviously, lots of baseball to be watched this weekend.
No, we got to pay attention. I think the Yankees and Orioles have one more game tonight in their series, and you said that for the Yankees, magic number is 1, so we could end it.
Yeah,
Or clinch the AL East tonight, so that'd be exciting.
yeah, and I think you guys are in a position to. I think you're contending with the Guardians here for the number one seed in the AL as well. You guys both have 92 wins. They've played one more game than y'all. So we'll see how that goes as well.
That's another thing that would be nice.
Yeah.
Is the first seed, so
Yeah.
we'll be paying attention to it.
All right. Well, let's head over to the other side of the pond and talk about the Premier League weekend. Got some pretty solid matchups this weekend. It starts with my Magpies, Newcastle, taking on Man City at St. James Park. Pretty excited to see what Newcastle has to offer because last week was not fun. I don't know what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
But they lost to Fulham. Man,
Weird game.
it was so weird. I can't get a read on this Newcastle team whatsoever. Like, how the fuck did that happen?
How about it? Harvey Barnes, baby.
And I like Harvey Barnes, man. I do. There's so many guys on this team that I really like watching. Last week, I don't even know, dude. Like, I have nothing to say about that performance against Fulham.
Oh man, and City are coming off of a pretty good one as well.
Yeah.
Very, very eventful. Damn, Holland kind of being a piece of shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Shithousery
Big
from
one.
Erling Haaland.
Yeah,
For
like throwing the
sure.
ball off the back of the head of Gabriel, or that was actually that was against Arsenal. They
Yeah.
oh sorry, I'm sick. Sorry, oh my god, wow.
They played an EFL Cup match against
Woo!
Watford midweek that they won.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yes, the shithousery that Erling Haaland had to offer against Arsenal was phenomenal.
Yeah, Calafiori's goal, ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I'm starting to really not like Erling Haaland. I never thought that I would say that Kylian Mbappe might be a better human being than Erling Haaland.
I don't know. I don't.
Might be a toss up.
Yeah, I think I'll just go ahead and just give it to Jude Bellingham. I think I think that's where I'll have to go to. Or Vinny.
Yeah, fair.
I don't know if Vinny is. Seems like I don't know. The only thing I ever hear about Vinicius Jr. outside of his actual play is like the racism stuff, and like that fucking sucks. Like I don't know. I don't know what else
He is
happens with
kind
him.
of he is kind of a piece of shit on the field.
Okay.
I would not want to play against
I don't
him.
watch all that much Real Madrid, I guess.
Yeah. Well, let's just say I don't know if he's a target because of racism, but I feel like he's also a target because like he does like a lot of the like diving, he'll complain.
Gotcha. That's just like
You know,
all
he'll
Brazilian
play the mind
players
games a lot.
ever.
Yeah. That is true.
You can't fault him, man. It's just where he's from.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Newcastle, Man City. Look, yeah, losing Rodri sucks. And Kevin De Bruyne is still banged up. They're gonna beat Newcastle.
Kovacic is still a dog.
Yeah, and like I don't think Newcastle has the physicality in the box right now to even remotely stop Erling Haaland.
Yeah, it's a shame. I'm gonna say 2-0 City.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 2-1. I think we have the chance to score at least.
Okay.
All right, our next game, we have got Chelsea versus Brighton. Chelsea now 5th in the table after 2 consecutive wins, this time a 3-0 win over West Ham last week. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling like we have scored 9 goals in our last 3 games and conceded 0.
It's pretty solid.
It looks great. And when you have depth like Chelsea, you can line up João Felix, Nkunku, Pedro Neto. Who else played against Barrow? I mean, like they were shit on from the start. Like the lineup that we put them against.
That's kind of
Mikel Mudryk. Well, that's all the bench players. This is playing time to them. Like our defense was Gusto, Disasi, Badiashile. Those are all guys with like decent playing time in the Prem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Barrow had no chance. And we looked really, really good. We also looked dominant against West Ham. But
yes.
And again, West Ham have really struggled at home, and Enzo Maresca's done very well away.
Yeah.
So.
About Nico.
Yeah, I am super happy with Chelsea.
Little Nicholas Jackson brace there.
Oh man, I've been thinking about this since the West Ham game that I was going to have to come on this podcast and take back everything I've ever said about Nicholas Jackson.
Dude, he looks pretty good.
He's starting to figure it out. Yeah, he is starting to figure it out.
Leading goal scorer right now.
I would like to say, yeah. I would like to say that I apologize to him. I don't necessarily know if I take everything back.
I wouldn't yet.
But I do enjoy him as our starting striker, and that's the first time I've ever said that since he's been at Chelsea. So I've come full circle on the guy. I like him.
Okay, my thoughts with Brighton right now, they just draw too much. They're 2-3-0. Like or 2-0-3. I don't know how you really read it, but whatever. They're undefeated, and so is Nottingham Forest. Both of those teams are undefeated after obviously drawing against each other last week. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind of funny that I was like last week we talked about there's 5 teams still unbeaten. Well, now there's 4 teams still unbeaten, and the 4 that matched up with each other last week are the ones that are still unbeaten.
Yeah. Ridiculous. I think that excuse me. Brighton probably should have scored in the last minutes against Forest. They
Yeah.
were all over them.
Yeah.
All over them.
I don't know
And
what the deal is.
they're going to have to be way more clinical, playing a team like Chelsea that have, been solid defensively in their past couple games. So but Brighton's still going to face a pretty big challenge, I think, for Chelsea. So
I definitely agree. I think with Brighton, they're just on both sides, like they're prone to giving up goals, and they can also score them. Like that's obviously duh. They're a soccer team. But it's like it's just like they're so pretty solid on offense and not very good on defense, and it just kind of becomes a recipe to draw a lot of matches.
Yeah.
They've scored 10 goals in their last 5 matches, and they're unbeaten in 6 away games. Well, Chelsea has scored 11 goals in their last 5 matches. They're the best team at home this season. So
yeah,
I really don't
I'm
know how I
I'm gonna
like
take
this
Chelsea
game.
2-1.
Okay, I'm gonna go 2-2.
2-1
Brighton
Chelsea.
loves a draw, so I'm gonna go 2-2.
No, do not, bro. Come on, on Chelsea with me.
Danny Welbeck, brace.
I don't say his name. How is he still playing, bro? He's like Phil
Right.
Jones if Phil Jones was good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess Danny Welbeck was pretty bad for Manchester United too.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Okay, our final match. This one on Sunday: Manchester United versus Tottenham. These teams are both weird right now. If that is
Yeah,
a
Manchester
good
United
indicator.
coming off of a brutal draw.
Yeah.
To what, 20? Is that how you would pronounce it?
Oh, they also drew against Crystal Palace last weekend.
Yeah.
Not a team you want to be
Brutal
drawing
all
with.
around. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely not.
Yeah, like Crystal Palace and Ipswich right now both have 3 points because they both have drawn their last 3 matches. That's impressive.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
impressive to draw 3 times in a row.
It is
And
impressive.
for Crystal Palace, very impressive to be drawing with Chelsea and Manchester United in that stretch.
Yeah.
And
play.
Leicester just to add to it. Yeah, Manchester United's super weird right now, and Tottenham just as weird. Like Tottenham, yes, they're coming off a win against Brentford, which there's 0 expectations out there for that. And the last 2 games before that were losses to Newcastle and Arsenal, which looked like probably made sense at the time, but I don't know where the problem is exactly for Tottenham right now, because you can't blame the injuries right now, and they have the talent, but they just can't put it all together. And I don't get where this problem with conceding goals is coming from, because I talked about for weeks this Tottenham defense is awesome, and they've given up a goal in every single match since that Everton game. So they're 4 straight matches giving up a goal, and 2 of them they lose.
Yeah. What I think is wild is they're playing Carabag right now. Carbag.
Never even heard the name.
And they're losing 1-0. They already have a red card, and Christian Romero was suspended going into this game.
Nice.
So
Very good.
yeah, exactly what you want to hear there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see when this red card came into the game.
Oh, and I think against Brentford this weekend, you had a very questionable, I believe it was Vicario, the handball outside the box. Did you see that one?
No.
I believe it was Vicario. I could be wrong. I believe it was. So he jumps out to the edge of the box to try and catch a ball, and it tips off his hand, and he's clearly over the line and touches it. And then he's literally on the ground, over the line and touches it.
Oh, multiple times?
Yeah, and nothing
Oh,
happened.
wow.
No VAR turning it over or anything. Nothing happened.
Yeah, you hate to see that.
It should have been a penalty and a red card.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird because I feel like Tottenham, they're leading right now. They're coming off of the win against Brentford. I feel like they're in better form than United, but
Yeah.
something I don't know. I'm just leaning more towards United against them. I think United have looked maybe a little bit better,
At times.
just like
I think.
watching their games.
Yeah, I think at times Manchester United has looked better, and like I think it helps that they do have. I think they have a much better ability just to score in general, despite the fact that like they're not scoring that many goals. Like, it's weird because like no Manchester United player has 2 goals
Wow.
in the Prem.
Oh man.
Like they beat Southampton 3-0. What was that, 2 weeks ago, I think? And you had
Yeah.
De Ligt, Rashford, and Garnacho all scoring their only goals of the season. And but like at the same time, midweek matches, they're killing it. Like they're 7-0 against Barnsley.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For the midweek
I
match
can't get
last night.
I can't get a great read on Manchester United right now. And I hate to pick 2 draws this week, but I'm gonna go 1-1.
I'm gonna go 1-0 United.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
the rest of the matches we've got this weekend. So it starts off Newcastle Man City at 7:30 on Saturday. Then you've got Arsenal, Leicester, Brentford, West Ham, Chelsea, Brighton, Everton, Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, Fulham, and then Wolves, Liverpool standalone at 12:30. Sunday, you've got 2 matches, Ipswich and Aston Villa, and Manchester United and Spurs. And then we actually do have a Monday match as well, Bournemouth, Southampton.
Ooh.
So that one's an interesting one for Monday. If somebody wanted to watch that game on Monday for some ungodly reason.
Oh no.
All right. That is all for the Premier League. So we will turn it over now to the Champions League.
Do it.
We've got a couple pretty solid matchups here in match day 2. Tuesday, I guess I'll just hit on all of these matches, and then I'll just kind of stop on the good ones. Tuesday, October 1st, we have Salzburg versus Brest, Stuttgart versus Sparta Praha, Inter versus Red Star, Dortmund versus Celtic, Barcelona versus Young Boys, and one of the better matchups of the week, Leverkusen versus Milan. Milan coming off that loss to Liverpool, which was a little bit tough, but I personally think that AC Milan certainly has the goal-scoring ability to just go out and win this game for sure. And Leverkusen opened up with a win over Feyenoord. I believe it was a 3-0 win over Feyenoord. I think both these teams are in the right spot right now to look good in this game.
Yeah, especially the Derby della Madonnina was amazing for AC
Yes,
Milan.
yes.
I mean, did you see, dude, Christian Pulisic dribbling through everybody?
Yeah.
Like,
He looks
what
good,
was
man.
that?
I believe him and Leao have the most goal contributions in Serie A for the last 2 years. I think they both, or like since last season, they both have 30.
Yeah, they're so fun to watch, and you know how I feel about Rafael Leao.
Yeah.
I think he is crazy, but yeah, AC Milan I think looked good going into this one despite that Liverpool game, and Leverkusen. To be honest with you, I haven't really paid much attention to them in the Bundesliga. So
Yeah, I know they
know what's
were
going on
already
over there.
off to a slow start in the Bundesliga, but they're right back to it. They are 3 wins, 1 loss, and second in the table as we speak.
Yeah,
So I'm sure they're fine.
yeah. I'm holding my mic so I can sit back. My back started to hurt.
Okay. Don't hold it too close.
No, it's not.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to side with Milan, just kind of feeding the hot hand here, and just letting their attack go at it. I think Leverkusen has a pretty solid defense. I don't know if it exactly is just like a world stopper, And I think Milan has the offense to certainly score goals against anybody right now.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think Milan could run up the score more than Leverkusen could. Um, and Milan's defense, I don't know, just feels better.
Yeah. I think if I was going to do a prediction here, I'd probably go 2-1 Milan.
I like 3-1 Milan.
Okay. The next game as well, Arsenal versus PSG. PSG got away with a very close one in their last Champions League match. That late own goal versus Girona in like the 90th plus something. And then Arsenal starting off with a draw versus Atalanta. Not at all where they wanted to be.
No.
What are we thinking here? This one in London, but I like what PSG has right now. Obviously, it's different because Mbappe is not there.
Yep.
But I don't mind what they're working with, and then Arsenal just have a lot of things to figure out right now.
Yeah. I'm kind of feeling 2-2 draw for this one. I think that these teams match up against each other very, very well. I don't think there's like an obvious you know, there's not like an obvious advantage that either of these teams
Yeah.
have on each other. So I'm kind of feeling like a 2-2 draw.
Okay, I think Arsenal is going to be looking to redeem themselves. They certainly could have held on and won against Man City, and they didn't. Um,
Yeah.
I think they're going to be looking for redemption here in another big match. So I'm going to take Arsenal 1-0. I don't know if
Okay.
PSG is exactly at the point right now with the squad to be scoring every time they go out.
Yeah.
Okay. The rest of the games here on Tuesday. Sorry, I closed my tab on accident. We have PSV versus Sporting Lisbon, and then Bratislava versus Man City. On Wednesday, another 9 matches to be played. You have Shakhtar Donetsk versus Atalanta, Girona versus Feyenoord, and Liverpool versus Bologna. Bologna not off to a hot start. We'll just say that and move on. Leipzig, Juventus, though, I do want to talk about real quick. Juve taking
Okay.
care of PSV in their first match. Leipzig, a loss to Atletico Madrid in the 90th plus 3. Tough way to lose for Leipzig. I still think they're very good and certainly a contender in the Champions League this year. But they also haven't looked great. They're 5th right now in Bundesliga. They've drawn their last 2 matches, which is not at all how you want to start for them. So I think with them, it's just this is either where you start turning it up or you're just going to fall behind again. Like I don't know what else to say for Leipzig. For Juve, they seem to be looking pretty good up to this point. I think in Serie A, they're 4th right now. Serie A is a mess. Torino right now in first place with 3 wins and 2 draws is weird. And then it goes Torino, Napoli, Udinese, then Juventus, then Empoli, then Inter Milan, and AC Milan even down further past them. It's 7th. Like this is weird ass start to the season. And then 2 of the teams that have done really good stuff, at least last year, in Atalanta and Bologna, who are in the Champions League, are in 12th and 13th.
Wild.
Yeah.
And then, heartbreaking news for Como, Rafael Varane retired.
Well, yeah, they took him out of the fucking squad.
Yeah.
He's 31 years old, which is unbelievable. I feel like I've been talking about him the entire time I've been watching soccer.
Yeah. He got started at Real Madrid super early.
Yeah. Yeah, he burst on the scene for Real Madrid at 20?
Yeah. I think so.
I feel like he's been around a long time.
I mean, shit, if I wasn't getting playing time, I'd already made millions and millions of dollars, and I got to move to Lake Como, I'd probably just hang it up as well.
Yeah, if I'm him, I'm certainly not going to be moving anytime soon.
No, absolutely not.
You're already in the place that people move to.
Yes.
That's where you'd want to retire to. But yeah, I think Juve will be just fine here. I personally think they'll get the win. I don't love what I'm seeing from Leipzig at the moment.
Yeah.
I think the losing late to Atleti on a not a great way to end the game is maybe a little more telling here for them. So yeah, I'm going to take Juventus. I'll probably say 1-0.
I'll go 2-0.
Okay. Yeah, Leipzig, I looked at it. Those two draws that they've had in the Bundesliga, both 0-0. Um,
Oh wow.
Benfica versus Atleti is the next game. So Benfica easily take care of Red Star Belgrade, and Atleti, of course, the aforementioned win over Leipzig. I just think these are kind of two interesting teams. I wasn't all that high on Atleti coming into the Champions League. Um, I'm a little bit more into what they've got going on, but I do really like Benfica right now. Despite the fact that
Yeah.
every offseason they lose an important piece of their team, like every single time. In
Every
the last
time.
2 seasons, it's been to PSG.
Yeah, they love shopping there.
Yeah.
Love shopping there.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm really interested in what we'll see from Benfica on a week by week basis in the Champions League.
I am too. How about Angel Di Maria still kicking about?
It's insane. It really is. And like
Yeah, he
this is
played
a
against Red Star.
yeah, this is an odd lineup that they threw out there versus Red Star as well.
It really
Um
is.
like also, why the fuck does Nicholas Otamendi still play? It's
I have
crazy.
no idea.
Um,
I have absolutely no idea.
yeah, there's a lot to wonder about with Benfica and where this team lies. I would assume they'll probably make it to the next round. I just don't know how they'll be seeded. And Atleti probably with the way that they looked against Leipzig, I'd be willing to say they're probably one of the top teams out here right now, at least top 10 in this Champions League, maybe even like
Yeah.
top 8. Um, and I love the way that they set it up. My favorite part about this win over Leipzig is the formation that they ran because it's so unpredictable. Like nobody thought that this, like I know that Diego Simeone is a pretty defensive coach, but like 5 at the back doesn't seem right. And putting Llorente at right wing back is interesting. But then you have Lenormand, Jimenez in the center, and then Reynildo at left center back, and then Riquelme at left back or left wing back. It's super odd to throw them out like that. And then like DePaul, Koke, and Griezmann as your center midfielders. And then you have 2 up front with Julian Alvarez and Angel Correa. Like it's, I think what I like about it is that in each line, there's extra players there that just complement the other guys. Like Angel Correa complements how Julian Alvarez plays super well. And the same
Yeah.
goes for like Griezmann, Koke, and DePaul. They all do different things in the midfield and they all work well together. I think that's what I like the
Yeah.
most about how it's set up. And then obviously in the defense, I think it's an interesting route to take. But I think obviously it paid off. Um, yeah, obviously in this matchup, I think I'll probably take Atleti over Benfica, but I do think Benfica's a team that, like I wouldn't be surprised to see this game end in like a 1-1 draw.
Okay. Yeah. I'm probably gonna go 1-1 draw. Not a big fan of Julian Alvarez on Atletico Madrid just yet.
Yeah, he hasn't looked great. Next matchups, though, we've got Dinamo Zagreb versus Monaco, Lille versus Real Madrid, Aston Villa versus Bayern Munich. Another big matchup. Both those teams kind of dominating their opponents in week one. Well, not kind of for Bayern. 9-2 win over Dinamo Zagreb for them. Villa, 3-0 win over Young Boys. I want Villa to be better than they are right now. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. I
Like
think I got you there.
they're top 4 in the Prem, and they won their first match. But I don't know why it doesn't look perfect yet. Like I haven't seen it look perfect just yet. And like not to say that they're not going to, like they're pretty well scoring goals, but it's like their last 3 matches in the Prem is a 2-1 win over Leicester, a 3-2 win over Everton, and a 3-1 win over Wolves. That's literally all teams in the bottom 5 or bottom 6 in the league right now.
Yeah.
And you gave up 2 goals to Everton, who is second to last. I got to see a better defense from Aston Villa before I think they're going to start contending with these top teams.
Yeah.
And like
I
they've
know.
got great defenders. It's just not working right now.
Yeah, and Bayern I don't know. There's such like a dominant factor to Bayern. Like when they're on, they're just so on. Um, and Aston Villa is definitely they're the team that's going to have to try a lot harder for
Definitely.
sure. And I don't know if we've really seen it from Aston Villa just yet, but they do look overall really good. I mean, I think they definitely deserve to be in the Champions League
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But if they're going to contend like a Premier League team should, they're going to have to work out a couple of things. I think.
Yeah. And like if you look at Bayern's last 3 matches, is a 5-0 win over Werder Bremen. And then you have the 9-2 win over Dinamo Zagreb, and then a 6-1 win over Holstein Kiel. Like they are scoring so many goals right
Ridiculous.
now.
Yeah.
So you gotta watch out if you're Villa, because they've scored 20 goals in their last 3 matches.
Yeah.
That's
For sure.
unbelievable. So yeah, Villa, be on the lookout. I'm gonna probably take Bayern Munich like 3-1. This goal scoring form is unbelievable.
Yeah. I'll take them 2-1. A little
Okay.
bit closer.
And then only one other match, Sturm Graz versus Club Bruges. So yeah, a lot of pretty good matchups. I think more of them probably more underrated than like star-studded matchups. But certainly good ones to watch both Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah. I agree.
Um,
I agree.
I don't think we have like any UCL news really to cover. We already talked about the Rodri injury. That's kind of the biggest thing. So I think it's about that time. Don't you agree?
Yeah, it's questions time.
I do believe it is. We got the questions from Nathan. They are on Reddit. So I will pull them up. Like I mentioned, he was stuck in Target with no service. But he did get them posted. Let's see. So, yeah, title here is the middle finger emoji, obviously representing the word fuck. Fuck a rhyme. It's questions time. I see what you did there, Nathan. Okay.
Nice.
What was your favorite Halloween costume you wore as a kid? I've got a great answer, and it's not my favorite, but it's the
Oh.
funniest looking one ever.
I was Thomas the Tank Engine.
Ah, that's pretty good. I was a Minecraft
Yeah.
creeper, which was a square cardboard box that my mom like printed out things for and made the head, and then I just wore a green hoodie and like shorts. I think I wore black shorts.
Oh wow.
Yeah, pretty good. And then I also used to just do the cop out of like painting my face like a skeleton or something and just being like a baseball player. And I would just wear my baseball uniform and just have face paint.
I love it.
And then
I love
when
it.
I was in high school, like, because like I don't really dress up for Halloween, but when I was in
Yeah.
high school, I went to a Halloween party and everyone's like, "Dude, you're not dressed up." I was like, "What do you mean? I'm a rec baseball coach," um, which just was wearing a windbreaker, and khaki shorts, and
Um.
I bought Jack Link's jerky chew, because I was like,
Oh,
I think I was
love
16.
Jerky Chew.
Yeah, I was 16,
Yeah.
so I obviously wasn't gonna buy actual dip because I couldn't and I did not want to. But yeah, I like a good Halloween costume cop out. That's my maybe it's unfortunate, but I like doing it.
Yeah. I was my first Halloween in Athens. I was a flapper with my ex-girlfriend. That was pretty fun.
Nice.
Outfits were nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what else. Thomas the Tank Engine, Flapper. Yeah, I don't know. I can't. Why? I'm totally blanking on what else I did.
Yeah, I can't
I
really
guess I'll
think
just
of
stick with those two.
I can't think of a lot of my childhood costumes other than the creeper one because it's just such a stupid fucking looking picture. Like I look like
Yeah.
such an idiot. What is your new Super Bowl prediction?
Ah, Bills Commanders.
That would be fucking awesome.
That would be pretty cool.
Because the only awesome part about that would be the Commanders making it to the Super Bowl. I would love to watch those playoff games when they finish like
Yeah.
48-45 every week.
Yeah. God, put me on the spot here.
I certainly
I
don't
really
love. I don't love mine from before the season, so I will be revising mine because if anybody doesn't remember, I had Texans Lions, and I'm not loving those two teams at the moment.
yeah. I'm still gonna stick with the Bills. I don't have a good history with picking Minnesota to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's true.
If I say that Minnesota's going to the Super Bowl, Sam Darnold's getting hurt next week.
Yeah, or they're gonna lose like what? How many games are left? 13 straight games.
Yeah.
14.
God, I don't know who to pick out of the NFC. What are you thinking for yours?
Let's see. I'm gonna go. Hey, fuck it. I'm gonna say the Falcons.
Okay.
Falcons in the NFC, and I'm gonna go with the Bills. I'm gonna keep riding high on the Bills.
Okay.
The Falcons are close.
Uh,
They're close
yeah.
to figuring something out. I guess not close to winning a Super Bowl, but
Bills. Bills Lions.
yeah. Unless we forget the Chiefs once again.
Yeah.
they're
I'm gonna
just
keep
like
not picking them until
every time
it
we
doesn't-
make a prediction, just assume that the Chiefs are 1B in the AFC.
Yeah.
Just that's the assumption that
Just-
we have to work with.
yeah.
Favorite movie theater snack? I already know mine. It's Bunch of Crunch.
What? What is a bunch of crunch?
Okay, so it's like a Crunch bar, except it's like a bunch of little tiny balls of it. They're like little clusters of balls of crunch.
Oh,
fucking elite.
dude! I
They're
didn't know that
elite.
this existed. I love Crunch bars.
And what the best part is that they're much like easier to bite into. Like typically like a Crunch bar is kind of a hard chocolate.
Yeah.
Way easier to like bite into. And the best thing to do with them, toss them in your popcorn, because the warmth of the popcorn kind of melts it just a little bit. Get that, that kind of like sweet and savory flavor. It's kind of the same thing as putting M&Ms in your popcorn, which I am also a big fan of. But I think the Bunch of Crunch is elite in the popcorn because it just kind of softens it up a little bit, but doesn't quite melt the chocolate.
Yeah. I am only a popcorn guy. I
Oh, okay.
love movie theater popcorn
Popcorn is
and do
phenomenal.
not do anything to it. Don't put butter in it. Don't. Nothing.
Whoa. No. There needs to be like a pool of butter in the bottom of the fucking thing.
Absolutely
Dude,
not.
No, because
Absolutely not.
Look, I'm never eating what's at the bottom. I'm always going to get it refilled.
Really?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you last time I refilled popcorn.
Oh, so you're not
in the
doing
movie
it
theater.
right.
Yeah, dude, I love movie theater popcorn. Just regular movie theater popcorn.
You gotta at least add like a quick drizzle of butter. That's crazy.
Never.
Crazy.
Never. And then I will sneak in a soda from like the nearby Walmart.
Oh, okay. I don't really drink
I'll pay
soda.
for the movie theater popcorn, but I'm paying for the soda.
Yeah. I guess typically, I think the movie theaters near me have Coke products, so I'd probably get like a Powerade.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really drink soda. Or if sparkling water is an option,
Yeah.
I'll get a bubbly.
Actually, I will say, I guess we can just cut this part out. The movie theater that you live by, am I allowed to say that?
Yeah,
is a Pepsi product movie theater, and I always get Mountain Dew there.
But I would assume I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, the one on the top of the hill.
Yeah, okay. That's the one. That one's fine, but there's a better one the other direction that I go to more often.
Okay. Gotcha.
I'll say that. Nonetheless, Bunch of Crunch undefeated. I actually I know what Nathan's was growing up.
What was Nathan's?
Snow caps.
Really?
Those things are ass.
What? Oh man, he really is like 29 years old.
For anybody that doesn't know, Nathan turns what 25? Yeah, 25.
Yeah.
And like, actually, when me and you are recording next Thursday, it's Nathan's 25th birthday.
Oh, that's gonna be cool. We'll have to do a birthday special.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get him to hop on with us.
That'd be
Um,
cool, actually.
all right. What made you fall in love with the sport you played as a kid?
Ooh, probably my dad. He played
Yeah,
soccer
probably the
growing
same
up.
way. Uh,
Um,
Mine's not from playing. Mine's just from watching it with him,
yeah,
watching baseball. Because like,
yeah,
and also like he coached me at like a relatively young age. Like he didn't. So it was interesting because like I typically say like for the most part that like my dad was my coach at some point. He didn't start coaching me till I think I was like 14. He was
okay,
always an assistant coach, but he was never like the head coach. And then like I turned 14, he decided to just like start head coaching because I'd already gotten injured at that point. Like I didn't care. It's kind of the case.
yeah,
And so it was more fun to just like have everybody out there because it was like I was on the team. Nathan was a coach. My dad was a coach. My cousin Spencer might be listening to this, was a coach. Colin coached some of my teams, coached, and then like we all coached together for Ethan's teams. Like I think having like my whole family out there all the time made baseball way more fun, especially
yeah,
at a young age. Especially
yeah. No,
especially after
for
an injury that like made me not love it as much. Having my whole family out there after that was nice.
yeah, that's cool. I would say that soccer was just kind of me and dad.
Yeah.
And then mom started to care whenever I played. And I started getting older and it was getting more intense or whatever. But yeah, my dad.
Yeah, and it also helped like growing up, in the cul-de-sac playing wiffle ball with Nathan and Colin. That's how we met Colin. He moved
Yeah.
in across the street and like he was in Nathan's spot in the outfield for wiffle ball.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just always been some kind of factor in my life. Um,
Yeah.
all right, next thing, who was the best teammate you ever played with? A lot of personal ones. I'm
Um
trying to think of one. I had teammates that I had fun. Are we
the
talking skill level or people I just liked being friends with? Because
exactly, yeah.
my favorite teammate ever, Jared. Me and Jared met playing baseball. So
Yeah.
yeah, Jared would probably be the one to go. And
Um
he was despite Jared playing Division 3 football, a pretty solid catcher.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty solid catcher, and was a righty throw, lefty hit player. Yeah,
Ew.
yeah. But we needed a left-handed
Wow.
bat in the lineup, so I appreciated it.
Yeah. Um skill level, either Edgar Perez, shout out, one of my best friends, or the Sanchez twins, for me.
Yeah, Alexis
But
Sanchez.
yeah, Alexis Sanchez.
Yeah,
I know Jose and Juan
before
were
he made that move to
crazy.
Barca.
Before yeah, I was there with him.
Yeah,
Knew him before he got big. But there, as far as like best as in who I enjoyed playing with, obviously my entire friend group pretty much
yeah,
played soccer. So all of those guys, like my current roommate played soccer with him. And then in high school, like our soccer team was so close. Like we went to Alabama my junior year and senior year for the Lakeshore Shootout.
mm,
We won it both years, but like being in the hotel with each other, going out to like, eating food, or like whether you were sitting on the bench, it always felt like you were with family.
yeah,
Like it was just such a good team environment. So yeah, shout out to my whole soccer team
yeah. I gotta
in high
give.
school.
Okay, I'll do a skill level one as well. I have two more guys that like we're just like baseball friends. Like it was like later, like it was already like I'm pretty much done, but like these were guys that like we played at the same place like the whole time, like played together a number of times. So, like shout out Cole Samuel and Diego. His real name's David. His name has nothing to do with Diego, but his name's David Diaz. And the first time he came to practice, they were like, "What do you want?" Like, what? Like we called him David. He was like, "I go by Diego." And then we asked his parents about it. They're like, "No, he doesn't." And then he was Diego for like 3 years.
That's
Shout out those guys. And then
insane.
skill level, I got fortunate enough. I played on a team with like a couple guys that were like way older than me, right when I turned 16. Um, and so like we won the championship with ease. I was like one of the worst players on the team, probably. Um,
Yeah.
but like John McDonald, Ryan Whitener played in college. I think he still plays right now. Tyler Gable played for Etowah. And then John McDonald was a hell of a pitcher as well. I think I watched that. I
Okay.
think he threw a perfect game.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a fun team to be on, just because like I was like a young, innocent high school. I think it was actually 15. I don't even think I was 16 yet. And like these guys were all like seniors or juniors in high school. It was like really weird to be
Yeah.
hanging out with them, but that was so much fun, just winning every game.
Love that.
Okay, what music are you listening to in the hurricane? I think the apt answer would be "Hurricane" by Kanye West.
I was literally about to start singing.
It's like such a layup. Or "Hurricane" by Luke Combs, I guess.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know. I wasn't really planning on listening to music in the hurricane.
Yeah.
We could definitely talk about
I'll probably.
what music are we listening to right now? What's new in the music world for you?
Future's mixtape kind of got repetitive after like the fourth, fifth song.
That's fair.
But it still was good enough to make me say that 2024, as far as rappers go, probably was won by Future.
Wow.
I think he was probably the most prolific and the best by far. Because you had We Don't Trust You and then We Still Don't Trust You, mixtape Pluto. He got on Vultures 2 twice. Playboy Cardi's single All Red literally is just him doing an impression of Future. It's the influence is crazy.
Yeah.
So I would probably say Future won 2024. As far as like new music, actually you'd appreciate this.
Okay.
I've been listening to the Fugees.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of the Fugees before?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So I knew who Lauryn Hill was before
Yeah.
I started getting into the Fugees, but so without knowing who these band members were, I like, for a couple days I was like, this really sounds like Lauryn Hill. And I looked it up and sure enough
Sure
it was. And it's also like Wyclef Jean's in there too. Yeah, they have amazing stuff. So I've been listening to a lot of Fugees and Lauryn Hill.
Nice.
Trying to think of like what else. I'm glad that you appreciated that because they're great.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
I recently I bought blanking on the name of the album. I recently bought Otis Redding. I bought a vinyl, my first ever vinyl of one of his albums. I'm totally blanking on it. It's got a woman on the cover, but
you told me that off pod.
Yeah, I told you that last week off the pod, but now that we're talking about music, I figured I'd bring that up. What I have been doing though, I've been like listening to a lot more music, and it's primarily been country music. Still bumping Sabrina Carpenter. Don't think that don't think that's stopped. Short and sweet. Still yes, the Soul album. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
But what I have been doing, like just the other night, actually, I was just like kind of sitting in my room and like listening to like some music that got recommended to me. And then I was like, you know what? Like I have like a number of artists that I really like listening to right now, but I haven't like totally explored a lot of their music.
Yeah.
So like, and I know
it's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, we've already talked a little bit about Coulter Wall. I know you're not like his biggest fan, but I've really liked his newest album.
Okay.
Called Little Songs. I think it's a lot. Like if you only know him from Imaginary Appalachia, then you could be like, I'm not like a huge fan. But I think Little Songs has a lot of music on there that's like way more consumable for like the general country music fan or folk music fan.
Okay. Even. Yeah.
And then 49 Winchester is another one where I just like I had heard their newest album and that was all I'd heard from them. I went like way back with their music and found like a ton of songs that I really like. Started getting into the Red Clay Strays as well. That was a band that I've been waiting to kind of get into. I've heard a lot about them and I see a lot of their stuff. I just never really got into their music. So now I've started to listen to a little bit of their newest album and the one before it. And same with Muscadine Bloodline. They had an album come out a couple weeks ago. I really liked a couple of the songs on there. Decided to go back and realize like, oh, I've heard like a bunch of these songs of theirs and had no idea. So now those are in the rotation. And then I went back to So me and you kind of talked briefly about Ocean Alley before. And
yeah.
I still don't know how to say the name of the album, but the one with Confidence and Knees, which are like their two most popular songs, that album is fantastic. And that's the only one I had really listened to. And I only knew Touch Back Down off Low Altitude Living, which is their album from 2022. I decided to go back into that album, and like I found like 6 songs that I really like that I had no idea about.
Okay.
So
yeah, Ocean Alley.
yeah,
Great.
love Ocean
them.
Alley.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I've been at with music. I just like decided to go back and find like a bunch of songs that I guess I just missed from artists that I turned out to really like.
You're kind of making me want to go back, like actually listen to these full albums from Ocean Alley, because I've never.
So
I only know their hits.
Oh, really?
So.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You've got, especially the newest album. You've got to go back and just listen. Like the first 5 songs on Low Altitude Living are in my playlist right now, as well as the 9th and 10th.
9th and 10th. Okay, yeah. No, I'm definitely gonna do that. As I drive in the rain.
Yeah.
Be perfect.
Yeah, that will be fantastic. Obviously, that's a fantastic segue to the end of this episode. Make sure everybody's just being safe. Hopefully everything is okay. Obviously, we're talking pre, whatever might happen here. So hopefully everything's all right, as Luke mentions or motions towards the Second and Short subreddit. Obviously, if you want to contribute to question time
before your house gets blown away.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You can always do it from your phone.
All jokes. Please stay safe.
Yeah, no,
please stay safe.
Please stay safe. Hopefully everything turns out just fine and nobody has to deal with anything too bad. But yeah, definitely stay safe. It's an interesting time, some unprecedented weather for North Georgia. So make sure you're staying safe, taking the proper precautions. If you don't know what they are, you can find them online and see what needs to be taken care of before landfall. Otherwise, fantastic weekend in sports coming ahead. Got a lot of stuff to watch. Got Braves Mets on Monday is going to be quite the fucking day for me. We will see how that goes.
Oh man,
because
what an exciting game!
God, I was really hoping we could just ride off the momentum of a 5-1 win with a fantastic showing from Spencer Schwellenbach, and then it just stopped. So yeah, we'll see how that turns out. But nonetheless, obviously join the Second and Short subreddit, 2&D, 8&D Short. Follow us on Instagrams where we keep you up to date on everything. If you didn't watch the college football show yesterday, it came out an hour and a half before I'm talking right now. But if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. I wore a new hat that I just got.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and I was going to wear it on this, but it didn't quite go with the outfit. At least how I wanted to run the outfit. But
okay.
Yeah, go listen to that. And come back here on Monday. NFL recap. We've been getting a lot of love on those NFL recap episodes with Colin. So if you're showing the love here, make sure you show the love on Mondays as well. Make sure you like, subscribe,
shout out Colin.
Comment. What do you want them to comment this week, Luke?
Colin Sexy.
Okay, yeah. Comment Colin Sexy, and then in a different comment, also give us your favorite movie theater snack.
Yes.
Yep. And Luke, anything else for the people?
Yeah, I would just like to apologize. This was a very low energy podcast out of me.
It was for me too.
So tired.
Yeah.
I have no idea. We recorded it so early.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
It really does throw off your game because like this is typically like right now is when we would typically like be getting ready to record. It's 4:30 right now. Like we're
That's
typically
wild.
pretty close to when we'd start. So definitely a little bit different vibes here. But make sure you're safe with the hurricane coming through. Don't feel the need to leave. Nothing is more important than your safety. So definitely just stay safe. Pay attention to the news. Yeah, that's really all I've got. Luke, we will catch you next Friday. I will catch you guys on Monday. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Peace.